We are back, and today we are going to build a farm, and this farm is going to help us build another farm in the future, because today we're going to be building a spider spawner farm. That way we can get lots of string to eventually build a general mob farm. And to get this project started, let's grab ourselves a few supplies, because not only am I going to build you a spider farm and get lots of string from it, I'm actually going to show you a couple of ways that you can build this spider farm to make it really efficient and either easy to AFK or to just generally like sit there and get XP and lots of drops from. First though, I need a few more magma blocks. I didn't need anywhere near this many, but God, that is so satisfying to do. Okay, I have a couple shulker boxes worth of building supplies that I think I'll need. And basically what we're going to do here, guys, is I'm going to end up showing you two different ways to build this spider farm. And I'm going to explain to you all the mechanics of how spawners work more generally. That way you understand anytime you find a spawner, exactly what you got to do and how you got to do it to make this thing work. Problem is, I have not yet run across a spider spawner here in the world. So we could do things the old-fashioned way and like go down into some caves and search for probably several hours in hopes that we find one, or we can go to our friend Chunk Base. We know our seed number. Our seed number is right here. Although for me, I could type in BGS3. That's our seed. So we're going to go to Chunk Base and we'll find it that way. And here we are. This is chunkbase.com. We've used this a few times this season and we will use it a few more, I am sure. We're going to click on apps here and then we're going to scroll right down here to dungeon and click on dungeon. We will make sure our seed is in, which mine by default already is. We have it selected as Bedrock edition. That is important to do if you're playing on Bedrock. If you're playing on Java, you can put in Java there. And I need to put in the coordinates of my base, which is roughly 500. That's about right here. And I can see all of the spawners that exist in the area. Now these red ones right here, those are spider spawners. Green is zombie and gray is skeleton. And if I zoom out all the way, you can see there's really not a ton of spawners that exist in a pretty large area. But in any event, we have a spawner close by for spider spawner. It's right here. And if you read down there at the very bottom, it says spider at 501.0.669. So that's where we're going to go. We need to go to 501 as the first coordinate in game here, and 669 is the second. So here we are at roughly 501. 669 is going to be this way. And here we are. So the spawner should be right about here. I guess we'll just drop into the spawner room for now. And then if we can make ourselves maybe a more proper entrance or way over here later. What we're going to do is we're going to dig straight down, but not straight down. We're going to do it in a 2 wide fashion. That way we don't fall to our death. And I hear the spider spawner going off. We should. There it is. There it is right there. So what we're going to do is let me make sure my sword is equipped. We're going to drop down, place a torch, pull out our sword, kill the single spider that's right here. And we have a couple chests to loot as well. A little bit of redstone dust, a few bones, some horse armor, like a few things that are worthwhile to a music disc. That's good. Some gunpowder. So we got a couple things here that are worth taking. Overall, not too crazy of chest loot there. And just to make sure we don't get snuck up on while we're down here, what I'll do is I'll go through and just kind of light up these tunnels a little bit around us to keep any creepers or anything of that nature from sneaking into us. And as you can see, wow, look at this. It's completely enclosed off. This would have been literally impossible to find if we were just exploring caves. So this is why Chunk Base is kind of good to have available. Okay, I've cleared out the area around the spawner, and let's talk about spawners a little bit. And I'm kind of freestyling this. I don't have like a checklist written off here because I've done this a few times now, and I think we can kind of rattle off all the important things you guys need to know about spawners. So first of all, the like basics about a spawner. Whenever you see flames inside of it, that means the spawner is turned on. Once you get more than 15 blocks away, and it's kind of like a sphere, imagine a big ball around this thing that's 15 blocks in each direction. Once you get more than 15 blocks away, that spawner will no longer be lit up. I'm going to see if I can mimic that now by just kind of getting as far away as I can here in the cave. Yeah, you can kind of see right there. It is not lit up anymore. That spawner is not active. I'm not close enough to make it spawn. As we move in, it lights back up. Now, also for one of these things to spawn, it has to have a light level of 0. In this case, we put a torch on top of it, so this whole area is lit up. I mean, what it looks at is not necessarily the light level at the spawner itself, but within the area in which the spawner can spawn mobs. We're going to talk about that area here in just a moment, but before we do, there's one last thing you should know about a spawner, and that's the fact that if you break it, it's gone forever. You cannot bring it back. You cannot place it back down. You cannot get a mob to appear back in it. So my advice for you, anytime you run across a spawner, just put a torch on top of it to turn it off and leave it there just in case you decide you might want to use it for something in the future. Because spawners can actually be really good in the early game and even in the mid game of Minecraft. Or if you're not a super experienced player that likes to build huge, like crazy, amazing farms, then a spawner farm is going to be something that's great for you. They're very easy to make. They take very few resources. They get you experience points and they get you materials in a rather quick and easy way compared to other methods that are just as simple. Now, believe it or not, spawners are different between Minecraft Bedrock Edition and Minecraft Java Edition in a couple of small ways. So we're going to be talking about the way it works for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, which is actually slightly easier for you because spawners will actually spawn one block below, like spawn mobs one block below and one block above and at the level that they sit on, and they will spawn them 4 blocks out in each direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So that far. And then if I were to mark the upper size of it, it would look like this. Now on Java Edition, it's actually a big square. So like, first of all, I think on Java Edition, it goes up 1 or 2 higher and 1 or 2 lower than on Bedrock. I can't remember the height requirement on Java Edition, but on Java Edition, it's a big square. So like basically this whole room right here would be spawnable area. Bedrock Edition, though, it is not quite like that. It's actually more of a diamond shape. So if I like were to trace this out, everything inside of this area, including the blocks that I just broke one of right now, all of this area is spawnable area. Everything outside of this area is not spawnable and doesn't necessarily matter. But on Bedrock Edition, typically speaking, it's going to be better to just go ahead and clear it out in a square anyways, because when we start to move the mobs around with water, it does make it a little bit easier to deal with a square rather than a diamond shape. Now, the next thing to know is these spawners also have like a mob cap to them. Basically, if there's a certain number of mobs that are alive or exist within a certain area of this spawner, it stops spawning the spiders or zombies or whatever kind of spawner it is. That cap is 6. So once there are 6 spiders within a specific area, which I will explain to you here in a moment, the light doesn't turn off on it, but it shuts off. It stops spawning mobs. It stops spawning spiders after 6 are detected in its area. But luckily for you, I know that area. That area is an additional 3 blocks in each direction, but it is actually a cube shape. It's not a diamond anymore. So if you go 3 blocks further this way beyond that, so 1, 2, 3, anything outside of that 3rd block is no longer counted against the spawn cap. Now, outside in this direction doesn't really matter for what we're doing because we could just make walls right here. It's not a big deal. But where it does matter is when we talk about going down. So what that means is once we go 3 blocks down from where we're standing right now, so 1, 2, 3, any spiders that go lower than that do not count against the cap for this thing, meaning that it will constantly churn out spiders. So there's something important you need to know with this. And that important thing to know is once you get the spiders out of that area, you cannot make this farm any faster. So the way that I show you to make this farm, there's literally, ooh, diamonds. There's literally, gimme. Ooh, that's a lot. There is literally no way to make this farm any faster than what I show you today. It doesn't matter how fast you kill the spiders because they'll keep spawning in either way. You could literally have up to 100 spiders just sitting there waiting to be killed. Although the more that you have sitting there, the laggier your game or your world can get. So you don't want to let them like pile up per se, but you can if you want to. So now that we've gotten down to this point, we know that any spiders that go below the ground that I'm standing on here, they don't count against the cap. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig down another 2 blocks, and going down another 2 blocks will ensure that this thing runs at maximum speed. And then I'm going to show you the 2 different ways that we can make this thing. One way is going to be more simple and require that you only just sit here and AFK. The other way is going to require some manual work for you, but it will get you more drops faster and experience points. So stay around and watch both. The second one's going to have a little bit more work that needs to be done with it as well. Okay, we got that dug down and I need a little bit of water. So I was like just looking in my small area here to see if I could find any. You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure there's a glow squid like on the other side of the wall here. I keep seeing like little tentacles poke through. Yes, I was right. Let's get Mr. Glow Squid's water here because we need some water. And what we need to do is we need to go down one more block to kind of like create a floor. And really we need to do another thing here too. And it's going to be done right here in the very middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of dig a little trench. It's going to go this way. And what this little trench is going to lead to is a double chest. So let me poke myself out a little hole right here, giving myself a little bit of room between the wall and where I want to be. And if we go ahead and right here, pop down our double chest, crouch and place hoppers going into it. And one hopper up top here, that's going to do the trick for that. And we need to make ourselves a little way out of here. So I think we just like make ourselves like a little staircase, kind of goes in here. And then we should be able to pretty easily work our way up and out of here, like, into our little area. Perfect. Now, next thing I need to do is I need to put in a magma block floor. So we're just going to take out all of this as the floor and we're going to replace all of these blocks with magma blocks. All right, let's close the little hole up right here because we do not need or want that there anymore. And then let's get our water out. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to place water in all four corners. Okay, now that we have our water down, you can see all of the water is flowing to the center. What we're going to do is we're going to knock out these torches that are around here. We're going to close this area off. And just so we can see things work, I'm going to cover this whole front area with glass. And when we do that, we do have to get rid of a few of the torches out here that are bright enough to light up that area. So I should be able to put one back here. I should be able, like that one back there should be fine. I could maybe even move one a little bit closer. And essentially what we've done here is we've made sure that all of our conditions for spawning are met. We have the maximum spawning area available. We are within range for it to spawn mobs. And with one final little hit here, it is now dark enough for mobs to spawn as well. And as you can see, they're slowly dying from the magma blocks down there. And again, it does not matter how slow they die. They are outside of the detection range of that counting them as part of the mob cap. So it will continue to spawn them as fast as a spawner can possibly work. And then as they die, the spiders, the drops will go down into the chest here because of that little hopper line that we made, as well some of the stuff that I broke while I was in there. So while this it's efficient, it's easy, incredibly easy, and it's super easy to just sit here and AFK it. It's not very fast because we're not taking advantage of one of the biggest and best tools in the game that we have as a player, which is a looting 3 sword. So what I want to do is rip some of this back out. We're going to put the torch back on here and we're going to make some basic modifications, do this slightly differently to make it to where we can use our looting sword really easily. Everything we've done to this point, except with the magma blocks though, is good. You can keep all of that. All that part's fine. We're just going to do a little bit extra beyond that point. Okay, so here's the part where I have not experimented a lot on this yet, but I think I know the best way for this to work. So watch this all the way through before you start doing things yourselves, just in case I have to make any corrections. But what we're going to do is we're going to come to the end that we're going to actually like push these guys, these spiders towards, which is going to be this way right here. We're going to create a water flow that takes the spiders and pushes them in this direction where we're going to end up actually killing them. So I'm going to go through these last 2 sets of blocks and I'm going to break them to bring these spiders down by, I think 2 spots should be good. And just so I can get up and down easily, I'm going to break this block, but that's going to end up going back at the end. But I think what we want to do now is we want to make like a little lip here, just like this. Oh, That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Hold on. We're going to fill this back in. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to build this little lip into here. We're going to chop in by a couple more blocks. And then starting from underneath here is where we're going to dig down that 2 blocks. And I'm going to explain to you what should be happening when we do this. Okay, now I want to start adding water back in. And I believe if we put a water source right there, ooh, it takes us all the way to this edge, which is fine. What we'll do is we'll put a block right here and then put a water source there. And it takes us all the way to the very edge like we need. And actually what we'll do is we'll bring this all the way across like this. And then temporarily, I'm going to put some blocks right here so we can make an infinite water source by putting another water bucket by skipping a block and going right here. And now that we've done that, we can take this back out and we have water coming all the way down. And it actually also, I need some more water. So let me block this back off real quick, because what I want to do is I want to put a water source on both of these right here. And actually, you know what? We take it from the back one. This makes the water flow forward. Let's do that. So let's put it here and here. We could break this back down because I don't think we need any more water. Get that out the way. And see, now we have a constant flow of water that comes down here. It leads the spiders to this area, right? So I think what we can do is we can make ourselves a little space right here to kill the spiders. And this is the part I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to work. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little trial and error here. We're going to test this out. I'm going to put a little bar right here. We'll dig myself down a little bit further in here, I believe. And I think if we make ourselves some trap doors and we put them right here, here, and here, we can get rid of these blocks. And then we need a half slab to go like right there. We put something as a half slab right across here. This should do it. So what should happen is the spiders, they should spawn from the spawner area, drop down into the water, and then they're going to flow down and go underneath that little lip right there and fall down into the flowing water down below. That flowing water should push them towards the center and then push them and trap them against the trap door. They shouldn't be able to go up or out in any way, shape, or form. And any kind of backup that happens should only be happening in that little area down below, which will kind of be like a staging area for the spiders and for us to kill them. So there's only one thing to do but to try this out. Okay, this should do it. So let's break it. We've seen them fall. They get swept. Oh, yes, this is good. And they get swept under. Oh, and look, and here they are. Yes. So we'll be able to kill them right here. They do get knocked back, which is a little annoying. And I don't know where that one went. I think he climbed back up, which is fine. So look, he'll fall back down. So what they'll do is they'll keep falling down and piling up in here. And if we could even like do a jump and just get a crit and one shot them, or maybe even get us the Bane of Arthropods enchant down here in some way. Oh no, he's climbing. It's okay. They're going to climb sometimes. Not much we could do there. So now what we need more than anything is we just need an item collection system. Okay, so now that we've gotten this far, I just totally broke that glass for real. Now that we've gotten this far, it's time to take things to the next level, which is before I actually show you guys some final implementation bits and some storage. And I think I have a slight modification down here I want to make just to kind of keep this from happening and speed up the killing process for you a little bit faster. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to decorate this thing and make it look awesome. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, and after a little bit of work on stream, we've gotten to a point where things are looking good. We got a spider on the back of the wall there. Looks really awesome. And I added in these blocks above the spawner. Super important for you to do because the spiders, they can spawn on top of the spawner and get stuck there. So make sure you do that. We're going to jump down in here because I made a couple of modifications that you guys probably need to see. So what I did was I lowered this area where we were dropping mobs down into. So they're dropping down 2 block drop right here to this little bit here. We got a water source there, and that's flowing the mobs in. You can see that's 1, 2, 3 blocks wide on each side. And it is a 3 block gap in the middle right here. So we got this middle gap. We use signs to block the water from flowing in, and we put some more water in the back right here. I need to finish decorating this thing because I, well, did not finish doing that. So I'll do that in here in just a moment. The water then flows in this direction and it pushes the mobs right here onto the hoppers. So let me break this. Let me put this back up here. I'm about to break myself in here, which will likely result in, nope. Okay, we're good. We're good. And then I will be able to stand right here to hit and kill the mobs. Now, I have a super big secret to tell you guys. This is something that happened on stream because I was working in here and I kept hearing like mob sounds, especially spiders. So we dug through the wall up here, all around, looked around, and look what we found. We found ourselves not only a spawner, a cave spider spawner. Now, based on where this thing is located, I would probably need to AFK somewhere like right down in there. So everything we just did, if we want to get this thing going, I'm gonna have to rip it all out and start over again, at least the storage area. So you guys got to let me know. I'm only going to do this if you're interested enough in it. Let me know down in the comments section below if A, you want to see me do a cave spider spawner, and B, you want to see me do a double spawner with this. If we get enough likes and comments, I'll do it, people. I'll do it. But closing things back up here, knocking out this torch here to turn this farm on, and closing this up right here. I can now go back down. FYI, I can get access to my chest right here if I need to. You see, we got drops in here already where I was testing things out, and I can sit here and I can hit the mobs. Sometimes they'll climb up for just a brief moment, but remember how I told you earlier, how fast you kill them does not matter with this farm. As long as they continually get washed down here, then that is all that ultimately matters. So if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.